Hi there. So I am reading the first of the book. If you remember, I did charity haul. I think it was February last year, so 2024, and I was going to read 4 of the books I bought, and I decided to keep it towards the end of the year because one of them was Mystery in White, a Christmas crime story by J. Jefferson Farjan, I think it's pronounced as. This is set in the I was going to say the 1930s, I believe, and it's sort of that crime thriller. It's definitely around the time of Agatha Christie, and it is based so I'm up to page 43, so I thought I'd come in quickly and give it, well, I say quickly, when am I ever quickly, but so we're on a train. It's Christmas Eve. We have, I think it's in a third class carriage. We have 5 people, I think. We have a brother and sister. We have a chorus girl. We have a guy who is just sort of described as the elderly bore. We have an older man who turns out to be a member of some society. I was going to say a historical society, that kind of thing. So we're in the carriage, third class carriage. It's a little bit like, I was going to say a little bit like Murder on the Orient Express. From that bit of it, we have the snow. The trains stopped. They've just due to the snow, they've left Euston at 11, I think it says 11:37, presumably in the morning, because later on in the book it does talk about being sort of afternoon tea. They're going to various places. We have, as I say, we have this gentleman who is, if I've got these right, I thought I wrote all the names down. Oh, we've got Edward Maltby. He's the one that's a member of the society. He's there. We've got this chap, as I say, so far in the book, who's just called the elderly bore. We've got the brother and sister, who are David and Linda. And what's their surname? I did write it down. Carrington. We've got somebody called Jessie, who is, as I say, a chorus girl. She's on her way to wanting to get to Manchester, so it's set in this country. And we have a clerk who is called Robert Thompson. So 4 of them. The elderly gentleman, Edward, decides to, the train's come to a standstill, decides to get off the train and try and get somewhere in the snow to the nearest town, etc. So then the other 4 decide, so David, Linda, Jessie and Robert then decide that they're going to follow on. They don't travel with him. They get a little bit lost. It's deep snow. They find a country house, and when they get there, the doors open. The fire's burning. There's a kettle boiling, ready to make tea. I believe there's the table set for tea, or certainly, you know, it looks as though there should be people around, but they can't find anybody. And like I say, it's like a blizzard in this house, country house, seems to be in the middle of nowhere. So this is sort of more or less in the meantime where I've got up to. Edward Maltby has turned up with another chap. I don't know who he is yet. So yeah, so we're kind of now, although it's that, I suppose it's that that of the era mystery, the golden age of the mystery. It was written, this one was written before The Mousetrap, about a decade before The Mousetrap, so so it's not as though it's sort of copied from The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. I'm just looking here because I've got little bits of notes to try and remind us of anything like that. So yeah, it's Christmas Eve, and it's just, it seems like it's good. It seems like it's, I do like Agatha Christie, and therefore I think it's going to be up my street. It is the British Library crime classic. I've never read this chap before, But yes, so there we're kind of up to. They're in the house, there's a fire going, they can't find anybody else. So yes, onward and upward. And I believe... Okay, let's have a little catch up. So I did finish the Mystery in White, A Christmas Crime Story. I gave it about 3.5 stars. It continued pretty much the way it was that I mentioned before. We do have Mr. Is it Maltby stepping up to be more of the leader of the group, I was going to say. We do get a conclusion. We do find out what happened, or where the people are that own the house, and why it was, you know, set up as though people had just disappeared. It's a crime. There's the, you know, the crime that there's a body. Actually, the body is found on the train, which I thought it was going to be in the house, but when they do look back, they do mention that it was actually a body in the next carriage to where they were. We have the showgirl, I can't recall her name now. She's twisted her ankle a little bit, so she's laid up in bed. Mr. Thompson gets a little bit unwell, more, I would say more like cold symptoms. And it's just, it's not gritty, but I would say it's probably typical of that sort of crime book of the period. It is, I did mention previously there about the mousetrap. Obviously it's not also, we had, I think it was written before Murder on the Orient Express. So yes, so for all some of the, and I haven't read both of those as well, or I say read both of them. I've got the Mousetrap as a play. I have actually seen the Mousetrap on stage. It's not the same. It's, you know, so yeah, it was about 3.5 stars. I would recommend it if you like, if you're an Agatha Christie fan. It's along them lines. Like I say, it's not, you find out how the person's murdered, you are kept up to date with everything like that. It's just the general, I think it's set over a period of 2 days. I think it concludes on Christmas Day, if I remember rightly. And it was, I was going to say, did it give you clues? I don't know if it's a sort of a solvable mystery or crime. But I did like the way it ended. Actually, I'm just trying to think. I think I did actually have an inkling a little bit about what had happened, or a sort of element to what had happened. So yes, I would recommend reading that if you're an Agatha Christie fan. As I say, although you do find out how the murder happens, it's not sort of brutal. It's not gritty. It's just, yeah, it's a book of its time. Will I hold on to it? Probably not, because I'll probably unhaul it. I've read it, but it was, you know, it did its purpose. So what I moved on to now, the second book, is Sunny Stays at Shetland Hotel by Erin Green. Gosh, you couldn't get any different, could you? You've got winter there, and we've got sunny, presumably set in the summer. And this one's about, I think, I'm actually up to, my battery's going to run on, page 2, and I think this is going to be about 3 friends. We've got one who works on the family mobile bakery van. We've got somebody who's come back to Shetland to try and reconnect with our old flame, and we've got somebody who is the general manager of the Manor House Hotel. So we've got Pippa, Natalia and Autumn, and as I say, I'm only up to page 2, so I will catch up with you when I know a little bit more about this, where I get a little bit further on. Okay, let's have a catch up. So I did finish Sunny Stays at the Shetland Hotel, and it says on the front, new friendship is the way to stay, just to stay away. New friendship is just to stay away. Sorry about that. By Erin Green. And I can't recall where I was in the last clip, but as we say, this is about well, I'll say they do end up as friends. It's development of friends. It's about family. It's about loyalty. It's about, I wouldn't say speaking out, but not being afraid to talk to others, not withholding things or being frightened to tell your truth. It's got some, I wouldn't say sad parts in it. And it's how, I wouldn't say these four women are connected. I enjoyed it because it was more what it says on the tin. It's about friendship, as opposed to, yes, we do have a little bit of romance in it. Would you say romance? I don't know if I would even say it's romance. There is a blossoming relationship, I would say, but that's not the focus. So it's not the focus where you've got, quite often, you know, where you've got two people and they're the main protagonists of the book. These women, it's about, what I would say as well, I would say it's about women, it's about woman power, it's about their lives. It obviously centres around the hotel, because we have one that works there. We've got somebody who's who's staying there. We've got, is the other one? I say four. It's only three. It's because the owner's wife as well is mentioned a lot in it. So we've got somebody who's the owner's the wife, the cousin of the wife of the owner. We've got, and that's her cousin Pippa, and she has a bread delivery van that she delivers around the local community, and it's the stories or her encounters and the people she meets along the way. We've got Natalia, who is going there because to try and reconnect, and it's her stay in the hotel and how things change for her and friendships she develops, people that, because she's been there before, like I say, before it was a hotel, and so there's people she's encountered in the past, so therefore it's how relationships change from that side of things. You've got Autumn, who used to work on cruise ships, I would say in customer service. She now works on the reception desk, and it's her view of working and her relationships that change with the people she works with. And, you know, she's a bit of a workaholic, and she's a people pleaser, and it's confiding in each other. It's not being frightened to say how you feel. It's well worth it. And this one I gave 4 stars to. I really enjoyed it. I have actually since ordered, as I film this, the first book secondhand, which is from Shetland with Love, just because it tells you, I think the first one is, I'm presuming, I think it is, it's about Jemima, I think she was called Jemima, the owner's wife, and how she got together with Ned, who's the owner. So it's more that I feel that focuses possibly more on her story, and her family, because Pippa is her cousin. So yeah, so we just well worth it. I really enjoyed it, and so far with the 2 books from the charity shop that I've read, I've got another 2 to read. I've enjoyed both of them. Like I say, the first one, Murder in Winter, is a bit Agatha Christie, a bit murder, but this is well worth a read, and I am so pleased I picked it up. So I will continue with the 3rd book. I don't know when I'll pick it up, but I will obviously update you and tell you what I think of it when I get round to it. So we'll see you again in another clip. Hi there, so I have another update. We are up to book 3. 3 of the 4 charity books that I decided to read. So the 3rd book sorry, I'm coughing. I decided to go with is the Sherry Lapina, is it? How you pronounce it? Everybody here is lying, but someone on the street knows the truth. I have read this author before. I read The Couple Next Door, and I enjoyed that book. I think this is about a young girl, a 9-year-old girl, who goes missing from, we believe it to be a home, and it focuses on the street and the residents in that street, and for whatever reason they have their own secrets and maybe become a suspect, because the investigation never seems to move any further really from the street. It's set in America, and I found it, I like this author's writing. I find them they're not a cosy thriller, and I do think that there is trigger warnings, because I read The Couple Next Door as well by this author. I'm not sure if I've read anything else by her. I mean, I don't know when this came out. Stranger, The Unwanted, Get Someone of You, We Know Each, no. Right, so I think the only other other book I've read by her is The Couple Next Door. And again, I really enjoyed that book, but again, it was about, if I remember rightly, that was the one where the baby goes missing, and the parents have gone next door for a meal. I could be wrong. I might have mixed it up with another book. I know I definitely have read The Couple Next Door, and I don't have it anymore, but I think that was that one. So these are sort of these are thrillers. I find them, and this is what I was going to say when I was saying about it not being a cosy thriller. What I mean is they're I think more psychological. And as I say, I don't want to say that they're an easy read, because I don't feel that any subject matter of children going missing is. I felt maybe I like the pacing of the book. I like the author's writing. I do like more of a sort of a psychological thriller. It kept me gripped. It kept me wanting to know what was going to happen. Had I figured it out by the end? It was probably no, not really. I maybe got a tiny bit of an inkling getting towards the end, but then don't we always sometimes? Do you know what I mean? If you're getting towards the end of the book, you kind of think, is that what happened, or were they involved? So it wasn't sort of apparent to me from the very beginning what had happened. Oh, I was going to say, I suppose what I got an inkling of was who was involved rather than what had happened. I think that's probably more correct. Like I say, if you do like this author's writing, I do recommend it. I mean, I paid £1 for it in St Benedict's Hospice. I think if I was rating it, it was about 4.5 star. It wasn't perfect, wasn't a 5-star, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a quicker read, and considering at the moment I'm not reading the fastest. Where those of you who know me don't know, they know that I don't read that fast anyway, but do you know, I did enjoy it, and I would recommend it. So that's, as I say, book 3 of the books so far. I'm having a look because they're here, aren't they? The other two on the back there, and so far they've been a thumbs up. They've been a success. I'm about to start the 4th one, and this will be the 4th and last one in this vlog. And that is The Woman in the Library. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the author's name, because I know for a fact I would butcher it, and I don't wish to. So I'll put it up there if you 1 and 2, and I will look up how to pronounce it when I do the final review. I haven't actually started it. Oh, it says here, the true master of the genre, the Sydney Morning Herald, presumably then it's an Australian author. So we've got, it says on the back, and then there was a scream, ragged and terrified, a beat of silence even after it stopped, until we all seemed to realise that the reading room rules no longer applies. Hannah Taggon, best-selling Australian crime author, is crafting a new novel that begins in the Boston Public Library. 4 strangers, Winifred, Kane, Mildred and Whit, are sitting at a table when a blood-curdling scream breaks the silence. A woman has been murdered. They are all suspects, and as it turns out, each character has their own secrets, and one of them is the murderer. While crafting the new thriller, Hannah shares each chapter with her biggest fan and aspiring authorist, Leo. But Leo seems to know a lot about violence and motive and how exactly to kill someone. Perhaps he's not all that he seems. So it's another one there where they seem to have secrets. They seem to have been, I'm looking here, yes there will be. So 3 of these books are kind of, they're thrillers, aren't they? Okay, let's wrap this vlog up with a disappointment. A disappointing book. When I say disappointing, I DNF'd it. I got to 100 pages, and although I want to know what happened, I did want to know who killed the woman in the library, because there's a woman murdered in a library. These 4 people here scream when they're in the, I want to say it's at the Boston Public Library, and from that they develop a friendship, and I think it tells you on the back that one of them is a killer. I think I'm sure that, I don't know because I didn't get to the end of it, so I don't know who actually did it and whether one of them was a killer. I just felt as though, and it wasn't particularly it wasn't a gritty book, it wasn't a complicated book, but I felt as though I was just trudging along with it. I wasn't over keen to pick it up. I dared to say I was getting bored. And like we say, you've got this author who is writing a book. She's Australian, she's writing a book, but all you hear from her, or all you have in the book, is her chapters that she's wrote. And you have an American guy, I want to call him Leo, who you have, from his perspective, you have him emailing her back about the chapter he's read. So you don't really hear anything about the author so far, because as I say, I only got to a page to 100. It might turn, it might be some brilliant, because I mean this says that it crime fiction lover best indie novel awards 2022 win it, so there must be something about it. Do I soft DNF it? I don't know. It just wasn't, and like I say, I felt like it took me a lifetime to get to a page 100, and although I don't know, you just kind of, it's you're reading, well I say you're reading the chapters of this novel that she's wrote or she's writing, and as I say, she's sending that, she must be sending chapter by chapter to this guy in America. He gives his insight, he gives his replies, as I say, in email, so you never see her emails. You presume that she's just sending the chapters. He then might say if she puts something in the novel, he might say, well, that's not what we would call it in America, or he knows the area the book's supposed to be set in, so he'll tell her about, oh, well, there's a local coffee shop round the corner from there. I mean, it says on the back, while crafting this new thriller, Hannah shares each chapter with her biggest fan, Leo. But Leo seems to know a lot about violence, motive and how exactly to kill someone. Perhaps he's not all that he seems. Yeah, it just didn't hold. It didn't hold my interest, and I'm terrible for not DNFing a book, but I feel like I say but then it says the woman in the library is an unexpectedly twisty literary adventure that examines the complicated nature of friendship and shows the words can be more treacherous weapons of all. I don't know. I dare to say I was bored. I didn't care for any of the characters that were in the novel that she was writing. I didn't care. I wasn't interested in the friendships. It didn't grab my attention. I didn't feel like I really wanted to continue and find out what was going to happen with them. Yes, I'm intrigued, like I say, to find out actually, whether there was twists or whatever. So yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment. I don't know whether, will I unhaul it? I don't know, because there is that tiny bit of I don't know. So yes, but I only got to page 100 with that one, so it was disappointing. So and then obviously previously, I'm not picking these up in the right order that I read them. I also read Sunny Stays at Shetland Hotel. I enjoyed that. Around the Christmas time, I read The Mystery in White, a Christmas crime story. I enjoyed that. And then I read Everyone Here Is Lying, and I enjoyed that. So the other 3 books were a success. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I would recommend them, especially this one if you like a bit of a Christie style mystery, because like I say, that was wrote I think in the 30s, or it's set in the 30s. I can't remember if it tells you on the back. You know, this one is a nice book about friendship, and not too romancy. This one are they thrillers? I think they're a bit of a thriller, aren't they? So yeah, that was the vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's probably been quite a long one. I might do this again sometime with a different kind of, I was going to say subject. Hopefully this year I will go and do maybe another charity shop haul. That video did seem to go quite well last year, and maybe do it again. So for me, it's been a success. So thank you for watching. If you